She wrote this. I'm not going to call this out, but you'll notice right away. She is a tall psychology and math teacher that actually turned persuasive expert. She's an Amazon best-selling book launch strategist, and she's founder of Copy That Pops. She's also a podcaster, an international speaker, and an entrepreneur who's been in publications such as the Huffington Post, the Thrive Global, Influensive, Accelerate, and the Internet Marketing Association. Now, after writing her first book in 2016 and being the #1 bestseller on Amazon, she now teaches and mentors other entrepreneurs just like us to do the same and use their books for more brand and business growth. So everybody, please give a warm welcome to Laura Petersen.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Are my slides coming up? Shall see. Awesome. Okay, cool. So, in the next 30 minutes, you guys are guaranteed to learn how to, and be inspired to hopefully as well, write and self-publish an Amazon best-selling book. We are going to be using my track method. And the coolest part of all this is you don't need prior experience as an author, you don't need a big email list, and you don't need to know Facebook ads or any other kinds of ads. Sound good? Awesome. So why even care about books? So if you haven't written a book yet, you might be thinking, well, is it really that big of a deal? Well, I have found that books are like fertilizer. You just dump it on and everything in your brand and business grows. So you get more attention. Did you know that Amazon is the #8 most visited website in the entire world? Right? So you want to be found there. People are looking for answers and you want to be in front of them. So you're going to get more traffic, more exposure to your brand, to your business, more leads, convert them into more sales. You're also going to get more internal confidence. I know that really helped for me once I was able to say that I was a published author. People look at you differently. And you can use your book to also leverage it to get more speaking opportunities, to raise your speaker fees, get booked on more podcasts, TV, radio, etc. There's just so many great things that you can do by leveraging a book. And if you add bestseller to the title, then it's even better. Now, before I get into a little bit, I want to ask you guys to write down a number for me. If you have paper, awesome. If you don't, maybe you can just write it down mentally. So I'd like you to write down the number of sales that you think that I had with #1 with my book. So write down the number of sales, any number, and we're going to come back to it a little bit later. But I want you to have thought of it in advance. Okay. Now, if you meet me now, you might think, wow, Laura, you've always been an entrepreneur. You might think, you've always been an entrepreneur. You were just out of the womb, ready to write books and take on the world. But that is not the case. So I was a 90s kid. Who else is a 90s kid in here? Love it. And there were only 2 bad things about the 90s. We had the best music. But the 2 bad things were, #1, there was no Caleb Maddox. He didn't exist yet. Hey, Caleb. And #2, I was a giant nerd, and I didn't get invited to any of the cool parties. Anyone else a nerd in the house? Woo! Nerd power. So this is a picture of me in 1993. My friends and I thought it was fun to join as many clubs as possible to pad our resumes for college. It worked out. I was about that. But I definitely was not a cool kid. And I grew up in the OC, Orange County, California, which stereotypically is known for what? Fake hair. Yeah, Barbie, I heard. Maybe fake blonde hair, fake nails, fancy cars and clothes. Daddy bought me a brand new BMW for my Sweet 16. I wish, not me. Have you guys ever seen the movie Mean Girls? Yeah. That could have been out of my high school. So the girls that ran the school, they were the mean girls. They were the prettiest, with the nicest clothes, and all the boys would just fawn all over them. And they had this tradition. So every year, the senior girls of the graduating class, they would get together in a super secret meeting, and they would talk about how cool they were. They would say, let's come up with a name for ourselves, we'll print it on some shirts, and we'll wear it all the time at school, make everyone else feel like losers, because they don't have one. So my year, in 1999, this is an actual picture of the girls, they came up with the name included. Anyone else feel not included in high school at some point? Yeah, probably all of us, right? So this reign of terror went on year after year. There was this tradition year after year until 1999, my year. So one day I come to school, it was a day just like this, and my best friend Emily runs up to me and she's like, oh my God, Laura, did you hear what happened? And I was like, no, but it was weird. All the senior princesses are like shooting daggers out of their eyes at everyone who walks by. What's going on? And she's like, well, you know the geekiest of girls at our school? I was like, yeah. She said, they showed up today with shirts of their own. Oh my God. And I'm like, what? Really? What do they look like? And she said, they're purple, and they say, Senior Queens. Oh, snap, right? How do you think the senior princesses reacted to that? Yeah, they did not like it. They petitioned to the principal and all the cool teachers. They were like, this is our tradition. Only we can say who's cool. Only we can say who gets a shirt. They're not allowed to do this. So luckily, the administration did not cave to their demands. And I want to tell you guys what I learned from that, and then we can apply it also to tourism. So what I learned from watching that, I wasn't a senior princess, and I wasn't a senior queen, but I was very much in the ecosystem. And so what I learned was I never wanted to be like a senior princess who was creating a group with the main purpose of leaving people out and making them feel bad. I never wanted to be on that end of it. And from the senior queens, I was like, you go girls, oh my goodness, that took so much lady balls, so many guts to stand up to the powers that be, right? I didn't have enough guts to do it. I was too scared to take a stand to the senior princesses because even though I wasn't included, I didn't want to cause any conflict or look like even more losery and get their wrath. So I was really proud of the senior princesses. And they taught me that you are valuable too. You have a voice, you belong, and you don't have to wait to be selected to say who you are. And what they also claimed was, you are not defining me by your exclusion of me, but I define myself by declaring who I am. And ultimately what they taught me is print your own shirt. So print your own shirt is a new motto that I try to live by as much as I can. And I encourage you guys to think about that too. The next time you're feeling like, oh, I'm not sure if I belong. I'm not sure if I'm allowed. We as entrepreneurs, we have to think and act outside of the box. So just keep that in mind, print your own shirt. Now, to tie this into books, and what I want to teach you guys today about how to hit Amazon bestseller, is I believe that one of the best ways that we can print our own shirt is to stop waiting for permission and write our own book and get it out there into the world. You do not need a publishing deal. You don't have to wait around for a publisher to come to you and say, you're an expert, you're worthy of writing. And you don't have to wait for other experts to come up to you and tell you, you're allowed to write a book now. You decide. So, it's your turn to print your own shirt, and I hope it says best-selling published author. And next, we're going to get into exactly how to do that. You guys ready? Yes. All right, so I have what I call the TRACK method. T-R-A-C-K, they all stand for something important. And it is a proven method that I've used for myself and with clients to hit #1 bestseller. So I'm going to teach you what 3 out of 5 of these letters are. I'm going to be super mean and not tell you what R and K are. I'm going to be a mean girl. But I will tell you, if you come up to me during the event and connect with me, say hello and ask me, and I'll tell you then. Okay, so it's a little bribe for you to come over and say hi. All right, let's start with letter T. So T stands for timing and pricing strategy. Has anyone ever heard of the 1 hour rule with Amazon? Okay, so when I was first starting to write my book back in 2016, I have to give you a little backstory really quick. I was going to all these kinds of events and I felt like a freaking loser because I would be talking to people and they'd be looking past my head, looking for a big influencer that they could go and take a selfie with. And I kind of felt like, dude, like I'm here too, right? And so I was like, I need to do something that's going to help me stand apart and really prove to the world and to myself that I belong. I am an expert in what I know. So in 2016, I decided to write, self-publish, market, and launch a book. And I just thought, okay, I could take 30 years to do this. I could take 30 months. I could take 30 weeks or 30 days. What do you guys think I chose? 30 days. Exactly. Amazon does their bestseller listings differently than I had previously thought. So with things like New York Times, Wall Street Journal, they aggregate data and report on weekly bestsellers, monthly bestsellers, and they're pulling this information from private booksellers around the country. So you can imagine this data is going to get to them kind of slowly, right? But Amazon can get their information immediately. So they want to give you the most up-to-date information possible. They update their rankings every hour. What does that mean for you? In theory, that means all you need to do is sell more books in 1 hour than anyone else in your category, and you can hit number 1. Sound cool? So that is what I did. And I published in a category called podcasts and webcasts because my book was on podcasting. I'm a big podcast nerd as well. And you can even see it's really, really small, but right here on this photo, it says updated hourly behind that arrow. So they even tell you that it's updated hourly. So, okay, before I tell you about Saba, things here. If, for timing and pricing strategy, if we know we want to get as many sales as we possibly can, do you guys think that our launch period should be long or short? Good. Do you think our price for the book should be high or low? Exactly. So price it low, do a concentrated effort to get as many sales as possible in a short time frame, and boom, you can do it. Stephen Dela Cruz and Casey, I helped work with them, and now they are #1 bestsellers as well. Good job, guys. All right, so I want to weave in some case studies as we go so that you aren't sitting there thinking, yeah, Laura, you told us you're a nerd, so easy for you to do, but what about me, right? Okay, I see some nods. All right, so let's talk about Saba. I've been meeting some of you, and some of you are still in high school and college. Anybody give me some claps if you're still in high school or college and you're here. Amazing, love it. So, Saba Ali, she was a junior in college when we worked together, and she wrote and published her book in 30 days, and she hit #1 in 2 different categories. Since then, she's leveraged it to speak on live television, to present and speak on stages around the country, and she even found herself on the cover of her local newspaper, and she is just getting started. Be like Saba. Okay, so that's timing and pricing. How about, now remember R, I'm going to be mean and not tell you what it is, you have to come up to me later. Let's talk about A. So A stands for attraction-based marketing. When I was first writing my book in 2016, I had an email list of about 200 people, and it was dormant. I never did anything with it, and it was all about podcasting, so they weren't really probably interested necessarily in hearing me talk about a book, but who knows. So I did not have a big list. I did not have money for ads. I didn't even know how to run Facebook ads back then. All I had was, I had about 1,700 friends on Facebook personal page, and I was like, okay, I need to leverage this as much as I possibly can. So what I thought I needed to do was to create content, share things that were going to attract people to want to be a part of the journey. So that's what I teach my clients to do as well. If you have money for ads, or if you have a great email list, this stuff is going to be even easier for you. But if you don't, it's still okay. You can still do it. All right, so let's talk about some examples. So 2 things I want you guys to keep in mind when it comes to attraction-based marketing. Number 1 is co-create. So I want you to think about how can you make your audience who's watching you feel a part of the creation and feel a part of the journey as you go. I don't know about you, but I have a difficult time even making my friends and family support me on stuff. Anyone else have struggles? Like, can you please go like that post for me? Come on, right? You're my brother, come on. But what I have found is that if you show people you're serious and consistent over time, they will support you when you're finally live. So what I encourage everyone to do is to include people in the journey as you go with your book. For example, this first photo is my asking people, which cover would you like for the book? I got a flurry of comments and opinions. I even posted that in different groups that I'm a part in, and it literally has been, to date, the most popular posts I've ever posted. People want to share their opinion. They want to vote on that stuff. They want to feel a part of helping you choose what you end up using. This is me doing a poll. So what do you think the title of this book should be, the subtitle? Make people feel a part of the creation. Ask for their opinions, ask for their feedback, and you'll get it. And then when it goes live, they're going to be like, I feel invested in this. I feel like I was helping you make it, so they're going to be more likely to support you. And then who here loves Gary Vee? Anybody? Okay, good. If you haven't heard of him, I adore him. Haven't met him yet, but one day I'm sure we will. So he always says, document, don't create. So I want you guys to think about that as well. So when you're doing the marketing, when you're doing the sharing, this attraction-based marketing, don't think about, hey, I need to go spend 2 days creating a perfect 5-minute trailer video. No, just turn on your Facebook Live, turn on your Instagram stories, and just share what's happening. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So when I did this, I had the wall behind me in my house. That's it. And I do encourage you guys to be super authentic and share anything. I did this whole book thing in 30 days. I'd never done it before. And trust me, I made some mistakes. Some embarrassing ones. So I guess I have some time if you want me to tell it. So one big one in particular was I decided to do a pre-order with Amazon Kindle. And what that means is you can have your book live and being sold, but you don't have to actually deliver the document until a later date, right? So I decided to do that just to buy myself a little bit more time with editing. However, I made the huge mistake of not uploading my final document in time for Amazon's requirements. They were a lot more firmly in stone than I thought they were. And what ended up going out to everyone who had purchased my book was a terrible rough draft from like the beginning of the 30 days. Yeah, I have a couple of reviews on Amazon that are like, this sucks. That's because they got the wrong file. But you know what? I turned on the phone, I turned on the Facebook Live, and I shared it. I owned up to it, and people were saying, thank you so much. I didn't know that either. I learned something, and they realized you're human too, and they feel more bonded and connected with you. So share everything. Just document your journey instead of thinking about trying to make everything perfect. A client success story, Akbar Sheikh. So he is probably the best client of mine who has really taken this attraction-based marketing to heart. He did incredible Facebook Live that really got his audience engaging and commenting and liking and sharing. He would also give legitimate value in his videos, not only just talk about himself, but give really good tips around his expertise to get people feeling connected to him. And when he went live on Amazon, he ended up hitting #1 in 6 different countries within hours of going live. And he also hit hot new release in 8 different countries. So imagine how much organic new traffic, new eyeballs that he's getting on his work, on his name around the world because of taking these actions. And the cool thing that Akbar shared with me is he says now that he's a published author and a bestseller, international bestseller to boot, people look at him differently and he can charge more. Who else wants to charge a bit more, raise their prices? Yes. Woo. All right, let's talk about C categories. You're probably thinking, okay, this has got to be important, right? It is. So there are tons and tons and tons of categories in Amazon. And when I say I hit #1 bestseller, it doesn't mean I was the top book in all of Amazon. It means I was #1 in my subcategory of podcasts and webcasts. So it's really important to do your research and figure out which categories are not as competitive as others. However, a word of caution, there are some tall tales out there of people who might, let's say, have a book on podcasting and then they publish it in underwater basket weaving or something like that. We want to be real and authentic, so you want to make sure your book is in a relevant category. But I would imagine anything you guys write is going to actually fit, let's say, in 10 different categories. It legitimately would fit in 10 categories. Let's put in some work, do some research, and see which of those 10, we can pick 2, and then Amazon puts us in 3. So we can pick 2 categories. If we can pick the ones that are not as competitive as others, it means that we can make fewer sales and still hit our goal. So that's the idea on categories. And I want to give you a little bit of an illustration. So when I was live, I went #1, and that's in podcasts and webcasts, but I'm only in this screenshot #7 and 10 on some categories in entrepreneurship. So those categories were harder than the podcasts and webcasts. And this information, a lot of it is completely free. It's on Amazon. You can just go searching through it and start analyzing the different categories. I recommend to do it close to when you're launching, so you're getting most relevant information, because what is competitive right now may not be competitive in 2 months. So you want to do your research closer to when you're going to actually launch it. But it can make a huge, huge difference. This is a screenshot I took just a couple days ago of a Dave Ramsey book, just to show you another example. So he's #1 in 2 categories, which are Kindle store categories, and then Amazon has him in a 3rd category, and he's only #4 in that one. So you would know, if you came and looked at this, if you have a book similar to Dave Ramsey, you would know, okay, that one where he's #4 is more competitive than the other two, or sorry, other way around. #4 is less competitive than the ones that he No, I'm saying it backwards. Okay, let me try it again. So the ones he is hitting #1 in are going to be easier than the one that is #4. So you want to go for those ones. Another success, just to keep you guys feeling inspired. So Tom Camp is an online entrepreneur. So he specializes in helping people make their music radio ready. And he decided to write a book called The Gain Changer. Game, play a game, but gain like audio gain. And he took my course, and he figured out some categories that I didn't even know existed. So his categories, if you can see up there, science and math, recording and sound, arts and photography, which really were relevant for his, but they were crazy low competitive. So he hit #1 in all 3 categories in the US, and even hit #1 in Germany as well, all while living in Thailand. And the coolest result that Tom has had that he shared with me is a big influencer in his field of music reached out to him out of the blue because of the book to collaborate on a big project. So there are opportunities that could be awaiting you that you don't even know, that you can't even imagine yet, that can come by your taking action and putting yourself out there, writing a book, hitting bestseller, and leveraging it for more. Okay, so just another little reminder, why is writing a book so great? Well, for me, it's helped me network with bigger influencers, people I love. You might recognize some faces up here. We've got Matt and Caleb on the ends. I got to help film on set one of the episodes of Ambitious Adventures, which was nominated for an Emmy. I was there the day that we shot with Matt and Caleb, and also Kevin Harrington of Shark Tank. This photo was taken at the red carpet premiere, and to the right of me is Greg Roulette. He is an Emmy award-winning producer, and then Brandon T. Adams, who's also a host of the show. And yeah, business partnerships, opportunities like this, things that I never could have imagined have come out of it. I even give bunny ears to sharks and mathematics. I've also had a chance to be interviewed on more podcasts, more video programs, speak on more stages. Yeah, Stijla. This one is the podcast cruise. And mark my words, I'll be speaking at Podcast Movement this year. Come see me there. And best of all, for me, as a nerd from Orange County who never felt like she was cool, a book has definitely helped me increase my internal self-confidence and help me say, you know what, I do know something, I am valuable, put myself out there more, speak on stages like this, and help try to inspire you as well to take the same actions. So now it is your turn. Please, of course, come up to me if you want to know what the secret R and K stand for. And if you want to go a little bit further, the top one is a free training, so it goes a little bit more in depth than we're able to do here. If you go to copythatpops.com/training. And then the best way to go further is to take my course, which also has a very supportive community attached to it. It's all about connection and let's work together. And you can find a special at copythatpops.com/MSB special. Now it does look like I have about 4 minutes extra, so we can do some Q&A if you guys have anything, but I'm not going to answer the R and K. You have to come up to me and ask that. Linda?
My question is, why did you write down that number?
Oh, I forgot to do the number thing.
Okay, I'm ready.
Oh, good. Thank you, Linda. Okay, would everyone please stand up? This has to do with the number. Okay, stand up. So, we're going to now reveal how many sales that I had with my book. So I'd like you to sit down if your number is 10,000 or higher for my number of sales. Ooh, that's a good amount. Okay, you guys were like me when I first started. I thought it would take tens of thousands. Awesome, okay. Please sit down if your number is 5,000 or higher. Okay, I got a couple more. Please sit down if your number is 1,000 or higher in number of sales. Okay, got a couple more. How about 500 or higher? Sit, please. How about 200 or higher? 100 or higher? Okay, how about 50 or higher? How about 35 or higher? Okay, all these people, I bet, have either written a book themselves or know some people who have. Am I right? Yep. So I had 33 sales. And I bet some people would not want to share that with you, right? Because it doesn't seem as cool as before. You're like, wow, I was not a bestseller. Now I'm like 33 sales. You're like, oh, it's not even that big of a deal. But the word is not fully out yet, guys. And your clients don't know this. Your family doesn't know this. They're going to think you're the biggest rock star ever. So take advantage while you can. We do not know if everything's going to stay the same with Amazon. We don't have control over that. So take advantage while we can. So thank you, Linda. Any other questions, or we could, oh yeah?
Awesome. I came all the way from Nebraska to hear what you said today, so I thank you.
Oh my goodness. What's your name?
Tony.
Tony?
So, yeah.
Nice to meet you, Tony.
I have a book that I wrote that took me 40 years to write, and I finally finished it. It is published. It is hardback. Now, Amazon, I know it's kind of difficult to get that book up on. It's some different things. What's the best thing to do? I got a product now that's hardback that's ready to do something like this.
But you've never published it on Amazon, you're saying?
No, it's not published, but it is published, but it's not on Amazon.
Gotcha. Well, if you have the files, you can, so for Kindle, your Kindle book is the ebook version. That file format is a little bit different than the print version file format. So if you're starting with Kindle, it needs to be in a .mobi, M-O-B-I, or .epub. Those are the best formats that Kindle can read easily. So if you've got your book formatted in that method, all it is setting up a KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing account. Go to kdp.amazon.com, set up the account. It'll take you 2 minutes. Upload the file, put in great copy and keywords so that when people can find you in search, and when they find you, they'll be like, ooh, I want to read this book. You can have it up in 1 day. That's for Kindle, okay? Now, I would recommend recommend if you want to do like a big launch, share publicly a date. So give everyone a date and a time, like say 9 a.m. Pacific on March 5th, we're going live. Even if your book is up before that, which you want to do just to make sure there's any little errors you can work out. But just then drive everybody to go buy the book on that day. And I personally, if you want to go for the bestseller, I recommend just giving people one option. Start with the Kindle because you can price it the cheapest. So you can go down to 99 cents. That's the lowest that you can price the book and still be a part of the paid bestsellers versus the free bestsellers. So yeah, for you, I'd recommend just get your file, upload it to KDP, pick a public launch date, start doing your attraction-based marketing, go live with 99 cents, and just boom, go for it.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, I think we're out of time. Thank you so much.